Hello and welcome to another episode of the Smash Accept podcast. I'm your host, Michael Royer. You can find me on Twitter at Dynasty Dad FF. It's Wednesday, so you know what that means. It's another mock draft Wednesday. We got one this coming out from Bucky Brooks at NFL.com. This one's juicy, Snoog. Like, this is when you look at mock drafts and you're like, oh, dang, I need this to happen, right? This is a fantasy gold mine, and we're going to kind of go through each pick here real quick just to kind of give you an idea of what he has in the first round. Snoog, 3 quarterbacks in the first round, 3 wide receivers in the first round. Or I'm sorry, 3 quarterbacks, 3 running backs in the first round to juicy landing spots, multiple wide receivers, multiple tight ends. I mean, this is just a gold mine. We're looking at right off the bat, Cam Ward to Tennessee, Shedeur Sanders to the Browns. We'll talk about them later. Travis Hunter goes to the Giants here. I don't like that. Genty to the Raiders, Warren to the Jets. Omarion Hampton to the Bears at 10. I'm going to have to call in sick to work. I'm so excited with this one. And then 20, Travion Henderson to the Broncos. Oh my gosh. Like your rookie picks 1 through 3 just became all running backs. Don't even worry about anything else. Jackson Dart to the Steelers at 21. Colston Loveland, Chargers at 22. Tet falling all the way to 26 to the Rams, which is weird. 29, Matthew Golden to the Commanders. My man, Andres Rosa from the Discord, locked in for another great mock. Guys, this has become just a fun thing every single Wednesday, jumping in here. Hit that subscribe button. And guys keep asking Snoog, they're like, Dad, why are you doing mock drafts? It's March. You know, we got 32 days till the draft. Why are we doing mock drafts? Snoog, why are we doing mock drafts? Tell them.
Because we're getting you ready for your rookie drafts. We're going to be giving you mock drafts with tons of different situations and scenarios that could happen in your rookie draft, because we could get lucky with a fantasy gold mine like this draft alone, like we did last year, or we could get 6 players in the first round that are in this rookie draft, and it could get real ugly. So we're just trying to hit you with a bunch of different scenarios and different opportunities and ways that you can bounce around. Say you have pick 6 and 8 and you want to do 2 different mock drafts with us in the Discord. You can jump in and see what picking from 6 would look like. You can see what picking from 8 would look like. So you can kind of get an idea of tiers and how to move around and see where your guys are.
Yeah, and we got Ed Mayer there saying, let's get it. Jaden Rodenball says, let's go. Dion's Raw's in there, said, let's go. This has just become, if you guys are not in the Patreon right now, we are offering so many different opportunities. Patreon.com/smashaccept is giving you, it'll put you in for an opportunity to get in the Discord. So you pay on patreon.com. We will send you the link to the Discord. And guys, it's literally the best deal in fantasy right now. $5 a month at the cheapest one. Ed Mayer, he just went in there. He said, let's get it. Newest guy in the Patreon. He's actually in this mock draft. We're creating a community, right? We do the trade shows on Tuesdays. Those guys are getting their trades answered. And guys are like, well, how do you know what the contexts are? We're answering all their questions in the Discord, and then we put them up on here. So without further ado, we also have, I got to say, he got one of the early picks as well, J. Ricky 88. He messaged me the other day. He's like, Dad, these things fill up so quick. And I'm like, don't worry about it. I got you. Scarface sent him the link. So shout out to J. Ricky. Shout out to Ed Mayer. Scarface, without further ado, let's get this thing going. Throw it out there. Let's put this up on the board, and let's start talking about these spots.
I'm yet to see a non-Ashton Genty 101 pick in any rookie mock that we've done, in any rookie mock I've joined. Yeah, I know, but it's usually funny because you usually get a couple people that'll be like, oh, the quarterback went first overall. Or
We're not doing that anymore. You know what I mean? Clemente Hernandez, he's got the first pick. He goes Ashton Genty. Snoog, in this format, I'm sorry. I mean, if Omarion Hampton goes to the Bears at 10, there's no other choice at 102. Travion's really close at the 103. But for me, this really sets it up. I mean, Snoog, this landing spot right now, let's talk real quick. So we got Hampton to the Bears. What's the gap between Genty and Hampton? The talent gap is massive. What's the gap if we get a Bears landing spot here? It's still a first, but is it a mid-first now instead of an early first?
I would say it definitely gets a lot closer. I think it's close for all 3 of these running backs because they all went round 1. I know Genty went top 6, which is like crazy, but I think
Absurd.
history has shown anything outside of the top 10 is like pretty much the same from like a hit rate perspective. Not positive, but I'm pretty sure I saw a tweet, like a thread on that, like rookie running back hit rates, pick like 10. I remember seeing it when Jahmyr Gibbs went 12, and it was like the comparison with him and Bijan and all that, people going back and forth. I still
top 10 don't
really miss. I really think that the gap between Henderson, I think Henderson and Hampton would be like a 2A, 2B, and like it'd literally just be whoever you can get a plus on top is who I would want. Because like you can't make an argument for one over the other, right? Because they both go to mastermind coaches with Sean Payton and Ben Johnson. They're both taken in the first round of the draft. I think Henderson still would have higher upside from like a PPR perspective, but in non-PPR or half PPR, it'd be Hampton because he's going to score 15 touchdowns in that Bears offense.
I think if the Broncos take Henderson this early, they're going to take a bruiser later in the draft too. Because
probably
Hampton
round 4.
Hampton in that Bears offense has 15 plus touchdown upside. Like I really think he could really smash in that area. The next pick here going at 4, really surprising pick with Travis Hunter in this format. Snoog, Travis Hunter, we've said is worthy of the 104 if he goes to the Patriots, but if he goes to the Giants, I don't want it. You know, like I don't want it. I'm moving him all the way down to say 107 type range. I mean, if we're talking now, you got to sit behind Russell Wilson in a Jameis Winston season. I'm not in on Travis Hunter at this price. Like there's so many other guys in this particular draft that I would consider taking over him at that particular spot. How about yourself?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, he's such a good talent, and I think Brian Daboll and Jameis Winston or whoever their court, Russ Wilson, can get him the ball, and he'd be able to still be a really high-level receiver alongside Malik Neighbors. I just don't know if he would play more defense and less offense, and that it's the Pats or bust for me to have them to take him 102. Yeah. Maybe the Browns, just because Jerry Jeudy, like he's gonna walk in and steal the number 1 role from him in 2 seconds if he plays wide out. But it's kind of the Pats or bust for me to take him 102. Like I think
if we see all 3 of these running backs go round 1. Yeah, I'm not putting Hunter above him.
He's a blue chip though. Travis Hunter really is a blue chip prospect. Like
you're good. It's going to be immediate return on these guys. The nice thing with the trickle down that we've seen recently with Russell Wilson going to the Giants, which is like, okay, we're probably not going to get Shedeur Sanders at 3. We're kind of making an adjustment, right? And we're starting to see the Browns starting to get some rumors. Cam Ward's going to go 1 to Tennessee. I don't love it. You know, he's my favorite quarterback in the class, but I don't love it. I think this is not an ideal landing spot for him at all. And it kind of dips him down my board just a little bit. Not a lot, but it bumps him down where I'm really considering some of these other guys. And I love this pick here from Mike. Mike Constantine goes with Tyler Warren. Now, Tyler Warren to the Jets, that's something I can get behind.
Yeah, I think, pick 7, he's going to be the clear number 2 behind Garrett Wilson. This is a bread and butter landing spot, and you're getting a guy with top 7 draft capital and tight end premium format. I think you could comfortably say this is how the first 3 rounds would go. Or the first, not 3 rounds, but the first 6 picks in the rookie draft, if this is what happens. Yeah. I would be very comfortable with this. And then the next 2 guys, I'm staying true to my board when he's on the clock, when I'm on the clock there. Hopefully Estevez doesn't snipe me here, but
I'm looking at this a lot of times. We've been doing a ton of trade shows where we're talking about if you're at the 101 and you can get the 102 and 106 right now, that's really looking good, Snoog. I mean, you're looking at if you give me Tyler Warren and Omarion Hampton, if he had top 10 draft capital, I'm fine with that, right? And I think right now, 103 and 105, if you tell me I can get Travion Henderson and Cam Ward if I really needed a quarterback, that's not bad. I just think when we talk about that, it's equivalent, right? But I think the 101 to 103 now is in this particular draft seems like it's closed the gap here just a little bit.
Absolutely agree. I think there's a tier after the running backs, and then it's probably a tier until probably my pick.
All right, who we got here?
I'd say there's a tier after Jaden at 109 for me.
Let's talk right now. So Ted McMillan, if he goes to the Panthers, if he goes to the Patriots in the top 10, He's the 104
Arguably
in
the
this draft.
102. Yeah, right now,
He's in this draft. He's the 104. He's arguably the 102. If he falls into the 20s, and this is something we got to look at, because then they're telling us what kind of prospect he is, right? Like, this isn't Brian Thomas Jr. in an elite class falling into the late teens. This is Tet McMillan in a decent wide receiver class falling all the way.
It's like the JSN treatment. Remember, everyone, we all thought JSN was going to be a top 10 pick, and then he fell to the 20s in a weaker class.
I mean, Tet McMillan on the Rams
landing spot like JSN too. Like he got that bad landing spot where he's like the wide receiver 3 from day one. Mm-hmm. I hate that landing spot for him. If Adams wasn't there, I would like it, but he's there, so I don't like it.
Tet McMillan to the Rams or Matthew Golden to the Commanders. I mean, like, I understand the talent, but I know you do. I know you, and you get on take lock with those kind of guys. But I mean, honestly, out of the 3 big guys there, Ibuka's not even going in this first round with Bucky. Like, we're talking
the real
about
pick is that guy right there.
Quinshon Judkins going at 1.6 or 1.8 is really nice value. I mean, you have to get excited about that.
That's the pick right there. I was considering Colston Loveland there, but I was like, Judkins is going around too. I don't care what any mock says. He's locked in. Mike Tomlin was all over him today at his pro day. The Cowboys are all over him and TreVeyon Henderson. He's had multiple top 30 visits with teams. Like, there's a chance he sneaks in a late round 1, and there's a chance he goes within the top 35 to 40 picks. He's still right there with those 3 running backs above him. Like, if he goes to like the Chargers or the Cowboys in round 2, I wouldn't be shocked if he outproduced any of those first round running backs. Like, it can happen. Round 2 running backs are very, very, very good hit rates too.
Yeah.
So that's the value right there. You could probably turn Hampton into Judkins at a 27 first plus all day long.
I think there's more of a chance that Hampton goes top 12 than Judkins goes in the first round. I like Judkins.
I think Hampton's a late 20s pick if he goes in the first round. Personally, I don't think he goes in the first round. No, I think just Genty will.
We're gonna do a giveaway on that one. I like where your head's at. Let's move up into the next one. So this is where, if we're doing this particular draft, I think there is a gap. The tier ends. There's a tier at 1. I think there's a tier 2 and 3 are a tier of their own. Then, like, I'm looking at this. Genty's still in a tier of his own. But Hampton and Henderson make a 102A, 102B. Then we look at, Hunter, Ward. Warren are in that next tier. And then we jump into Tet, Judkins, and Colston Loveland. Colston Loveland gets a beautiful landing spot here. I mean, shout out to Jaden. He jumps in here. Jay Ricky got Tet at 107. Again, Jay Ricky's first time in the draft, so I wanted to shout him out. But we look where we're at right now, and Colston Loveland to the Chargers, Snoog, that is sexy. That is just
right there. That's a dream.
Right? And the gap between, I think Warren to the Jets is actually a really nice landing spot, though, too. Like, I've seen a lot of landing
Aaron
spots.
Glenn and the Detroit Lions offensive coaches there. But tell me, Warren and Loveland wouldn't both be top 5 dynasty tight ends the day they get drafted in this situation. Like, they would be. They would be right after. They'd be right.
Laporta's 3.
I'm taking 4. Warren over Laporta for sure. If he goes 7, that's like really high end draft capital.
If you look real close, Laporta.
If you're gonna do it for the running backs, you got to do it for the tight ends too. Like, if we're gonna bump these running backs up heavy because they went first round, like top 10, top 20. I feel like we got to do it for the tight ends too, because
it's not
the strength of this class is running back and tight end. That's what I'm saying, though. You know what I mean? No, does that make sense?
No, they got to move up, but it's not the same position. Tight end, Loveland still has questions because he's not going to block. So, like, we're going to see where he is. And Warren, I think is a lock for me. But I mean, I would still easily have Laporta. I would easily have Hawkinson, and I'd really consider Kittle in that love. Hawkinson's a way better prospect than what Colston Loveland is. Like, he's a complete,
but not Warren.
Absolute dog. No, I didn't say Warren. I said Loveland.
Oh, gotcha.
Like, he's way better than that. All right, so here's your boy. Have it. Your boy goes here at 110. And Emeka Egbuka, where do we want to see him go in round 2? For me, it's still the Texans. I would also love
Texans.
Patriots. Yeah. Patriots
Or
are going to do something. They're going to shake
he
it
would
up in
go
the
early
second round.
second. He would go early second. He wouldn't make it past the Panthers or the Raiders. So it'd probably be a mecca to the Raiders, Panthers, Patriots, which would be 3 phenomenal landing spots where he's the clear-cut wide receiver 1 from day 1, which I would love. Imagine the Mecca Ibuka playing with Stephon Diggs and learning from him for a couple of years. Like,
Yeah,
they're both route technicians and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm trying to see and figure out here is why.
Come on.
If this happens, right, we get a top 6, a top 10, and a top 20 running back. They're all going to be what? Top 6 to 8, top 6 dynasty running backs. Are you taking Lad McConkey over either 3 of those running backs right there on the board?
I'm taking him over all the wide receivers, but I would really put him right there between.
Feed my propaganda for me. Feed it. I need to hear.
I would still have him over Henderson, but it would be really close. Yeah, it really depends on your build. Interesting part here is this is what I really love about this particular draft. And, Al Kalo jumps in there. He takes Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders goes to Cleveland. And then there's some rumors right now that the Browns are trying to trade for Dak Prescott in a pick that involves this 2 spot with Shedeur going to the Cowboys.
Cool.
I would love Shedeur. I said this in the offseason. Shedeur goes to the Cowboys and Dion becomes the coach next year because now they have a
bridge coach.
They do. Yeah. Now this was going to be my pick, but I mean, Jackson Dart to the Steelers at 21. He is a first round pick. Then I would take Jackson Dart to the Steelers at 1-9 over Loveland. Like I love Loveland
in the first round.
But
what's your favorite pick?
Jackson Dart at 112. I mean, 1, 2, and 3 are smash picks. There's not even anything to debate. I think Judkins is a good pick. I think Jackson Dart is an unbelievable pick. At that spot, I'm all over that. I don't know about you.
You think there's a chance Dart outscores Ward and Sanders going to the Steelers? No. Best landing spot by far.
Ward would still put up more fantasy points, but it would be close.
You think so on the Titans?
I do. I mean, they still have Ridley.
He's better. Like Ward's much better player and prospect, but like we saw it with. I don't know. I just feel like that could be like a sneaky little like Dart has a really good rookie year and like goes like 3rd QB off the board. I could see something like that. Right. But
so my pick here at 202, and you're gonna hate it, but that's okay.
No, that's great value. That's great value for him.
Matthew Golden at 202 to the Commanders is the pick here. One thing I got to talk to you guys about your rookie drafts is you get into take lock, right? And someone would say, well, I'm going to take Cam Scatterbo here. I'm going to take Trey Harris because I like them. And that's fine. But value is value. Take what's on the board. You can make trades there. I do really like Caleb Johnson at 201. That's going to be a sexy pick. If you're rebuilding and you just went and got Genty and Caleb Johnson, I'm all for that. But Matthew Golden to 29 at the Commanders. You talked about Stephon Diggs being able to teach Ibuka if he goes to the Patriots. Think about Matthew Golden is very similar to Terry McLaurin. And I think could have that kind of career arc where it's like, that is just a really good pick. I would argue you could consider him at 110, 111 if you didn't like Sanders and Ibuka didn't go to a good landing spot in the second. And I know a lot of people aren't going to like that. Luther Burden and Trey Harris go here with the next 2 picks. And then we got your boy Cam Scatterbo just keeps falling, and Snoog, we got to see him get round 2, round 3 draft capital. If he falls to 4, I'm pretty worried, and I think that's what draft day is going to be so important for a Cam Scatterbo is if he drops to the 4th round, I just don't love it. Big Fish Dog he goes, yo, why you got to bring up Lad all the time? Come on. You got to bring him up every time.
I love Lad, but you got to keep my propaganda.
Says he really well. I mean, to bring it up, what you saw from Lad year 1 was actually pretty phenomenal. As we talked about, his top 10 in yards per route 1, top in versus man versus zone. I mean, he was fantastic.
It's great in year 1.
What I keep saying is, I'm selling him for 2. I'm holding at 3. I'm buying him for 4 because he's better than Travis Hunter in this position. Just because Hunter goes to the Giants, Lad's going to give you immediate return right away. He's not as valuable as Hampton if Hampton goes to the Bears, right? So it's like in Dynasty, we're What I'd rather see you do, if you like Ladd McConkey, is go where you just see Tet McMillan at 1.7 and add to the 1.7 to move up to Ladd McConkey. A lot of you guys are really ripping on Snoog, being like, just because he says he would rather have the 103 doesn't mean he's going to trade the 103. We're going to make some moves. We're going to make things happen. So Nibble Bronco says, just call me Chris. All right. Sounds good, Chris. So Devin Neal goes at 2.6. So we got 2.5 and 2.6. This should be a string of running backs now, right? And on par, Dylan Sampson's the next one off there. And I think from 2.5 to 2.12, Snoog, we're going to see at least 5 or 6 guys.
Yep. I'm about to add another guy to that. Let me find him.
Andres says he agrees with Snoog. You don't see Ladd going higher than wide receiver 8 to 10. Wide receiver 8 to 10 is a foundational asset. You just build around it. You know, who you taking? DJ Giddens.
Yeah, I took Giddens here.
It's sexy.
Checks every box from an athletic perspective. Production was off the charts. A little bit raw of a pure player, and I think there's some growing room for him as a between the tackles runner, consistency on every down from that aspect. But I think the upside, I think you're looking at like a James Cook, like a red shirt rookie year type, and then a big breakout year 2 type of player. That's what I see. He can catch the ball. He can do it all. He's a 3-down back. I think the draft capital is definitely going to be day 2, probably in that late second, early third range. We're going to see probably a top 100 pick from him, top 90. But I'm telling you now, Dad, I saw and I'm seeing a lot of buzz around Damian Martinez. If he goes high, I'm going to be so unbelievably high on him. But I don't think he's going to either. He just doesn't scream. He doesn't have the type of skill set or like the elite athleticism or the elite receiver to go really high. He's a day 3 steal. He's a round 4 steal, like a Ramondre Stevenson.
Correct.
Those
but
type of guys.
I saw a garbage report where it was like he got a top 30. Yeah. Like if the Cowboys don't take
really, really good. I'm taking him over everybody besides Scatabo. He'd be my RB7 if he goes day 2. That's how high I am on his film.
I don't think he does. And that's where, again, in this particular
I don't think he does either.
The Cowboys don't address the running back position early. So if that happens, give me Judkins to them in a second or give them multiple opportunities in guys third. I think people aren't paying enough attention to the opportunity in round 3 and 4, where if you have a lot of other needs, you can get your Ollie Gordons, your Damian Martinez, your DJ Giddens, your Dylan Sampson, and even an RJ Harvey. Those guys are going to move up boards.
I have a fun one for you. Amari Hampton, round 1 to the Rams. Or Quinshon Judkins, round 2 to the Cowboys.
What? Why is he going to the Rams? Did Kyron Williams die?
I'm just saying. No, I'm just saying, like a hypothetical.
So Travion Henderson is buried. Yeah, then Judkins goes over him completely.
Yeah, or Hampton. If Hampton went to the Rams, like you would take Judkins, right? That I'm just trying to put things to perspective for the listeners. Like second round versus first round draft capital, a good landing spot can bump the second round over the first.
Correct. But I think if Henderson goes, he's going to go late first, and if Hampton goes, he's going to go early first. And if Hampton goes early first, there's no debating it. But if Henderson goes late first, now all of a sudden we get a good landing spot, like the Broncos, like the Chiefs, like the Chargers. Now all of a sudden you're like, ooh, that's sexy.
Yeah.
When you talk about the second,
because
and ultimately there's so many running backs in this class. You know, a lot of us say they could get day 2 draft capital. A lot of you guys have been commenting on that in YouTube. That doesn't mean they will. It's just a lot of these guys have the talent to do it. But this class, Snoog, could be so good at the running back position because it's 15 deep that they might say, you know what, I really don't want to waste a second round pick on Cam Scatabo when I can get Bajal Tootin in the 3rd round, or I can get DJ Giddens in the 4th round. And that might drag down some of it. But the elite top guys, you can bet your bottom dollar that Hampton and Junty are going 1, Henderson and Judkins are going 2, and Caleb Johnson guaranteed will go late 2nd, early 3rd. You know, like those 5, you know it's going to happen. The rest of them, it has to see what they like about the tape. Jaden Higgins here at 211 or 210. I like him. As long as we don't talk about his landing spot being the Ravens like it was last week. Like, I think Jaden Higgins has a lot of talent. How close are these wide receivers now? Like, if you don't need a wide receiver, Golden Burden Harris at 2.2 to 2.4, and then we'll say Jaden Higgins there at 2.10. What kind of gap to trade up to get those guys? it's probably going to cost you a 26 second, isn't it?
I think there's a huge gap after Trey Harris compared to Higgins. I think then it's Higgins, Royals, probably Jalen Noel or Jalen Knoll, and then another gap
Noel's
between
going to
every
move
other
up.
wideout. I think Higgins, Royals, Knoll, and then I want and Io Manor. I think he's in that mix too. And then I want nothing to do with anyone else after that. Maybe Tez Johnson in round 4.
And this just in, Xavier Restrepo running his 4.8, 4.40. Snoog,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, when I was in Buffalo 3 years ago in skinny jeans, I ran a 5.0 flat without shoes. I had like loafers on and skinny jeans, and I ran that. I'm like,
you played corner in college, right?
no, I played outfield in college, baseball.
Oh, you played baseball?
I didn't play football. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you played football. I was gonna say, what did you run in college?
No, we ran 60s. Baseball players didn't run 40s. So I ran a 6.6 60. That's a different game. Now we're getting a little bit of insight into Dynasty Dad background. Elijah Arroyo at 211 here. Snoog, I'm actually really starting to like Mason Taylor. Like I think he's gonna go.
Yeah, I don't care for Arroyo at all.
I think Taylor's above Arroyo for me, and I think
Same.
Taylor could go in the second round because he's a really good blocking tight end. He's someone that's going to be able to get open and give you a real red zone threat. And a lot of times we're just speculating. So you guys keep saying this guy might go second, this guy might go second. Like second round is big time when you talk about tight ends. It's the make or break kind of area. As long as you get third round draft capital for your tight ends, you're good.
Mason Taylor bench today. What did he do for bench? Let's see.
You look that up. Let's see what his bench is. Snoog and I are going to do a combine of our 220.
He ran a 4.65.
Yeah,
wow,
I did see that actually.
Good for a tight end.
What's his bench though, man?
He could be tight end 3, Dad. Like very easily. He could be the Sam Laporta of this class. You remember all the hypers around Mayer and Kincaid?
I mean, Fannin fell below this, and I just don't see Arroyo over Fannin. I could see Taylor over Fannin. I'm starting to bring there, but I think I still lean Fannin. We're moving into the third round now. We get, who do we have go there right at 212? Visual Tootin. I like that. Thank you for drafting. Thank you for drafting
28
him.
reps.
Oh, dude. That's crazy. Snoog and I have flirted with 20 before. No lie. Yeah. We might have to have our combine.
I think 21's my most. They're 20.
I've got 18. I had 18 good ones, but I mean, I'm old enough to be your dad. By the way, guys, I'm not Snoog's dad or uncle. Let's get this out of the way. All right. So that's like the number one asked question in the Discord. They think we're just like a family. You know what I mean?
Yeah, everyone's like, so is dad your uncle?
And when Snoog has a bad show, I get the belt out. And be like, hey, come on. All right, you know what? We're sitting here at
Wake up.
301, 302. Let's see what we have here. A lot of interesting
I love
picks.
that Ollie Gordon.
Ollie Gordon.
I'm really just going to go out and say this. I love every running back value here if you get him 208 to 302. I don't care who it is. As long as he's in my top 12, I like the value.
You know what I really want to do here is take Jalen Milroe just to kind
do
of
it. Now's your chance. I think this is a great time to take him. I think say you should.
If we have, and we'll do it.
This is a Snoog approved pick.
So I don't like him in the second, but I like him in the third because he's gonna get starts. He's gonna have QB1 weeks when he does. I think you have Elik Iomanor falls into this early third area. You have Mason Taylor, Harold Fannin. There are just I kind of want to go back and change my pick to Jalen Knoll. I think Jalen Knoll is like a absolute steal in this area. RJ Harvey is someone that I think RJ Harvey could go third round, and we see that. I'm starting to really believe in him. I want to see the guys that go third round, Snoog. The guy that goes and backs up Christian McCaffrey, the guy that goes and backs up Joe Mixon, the guy that goes and backs up Alvin Kamara because Kendrick Miller's washed. Whoa.
Yo,
hey,
you're not taking heartstrings now, are you?
But I think I love it. This draft board has been very sharp. I love that comment because I do think you guys in the Discord are absolutely nailing this. If you guys want to be a part of these particular drafts, we do them. And you know what's really awesome, Snoog, is tomorrow night is the first ever mock startup where we're going to start doing this with guys in the Discord because we want you to have the best rookie draft. We want you to have the best startup drafts. And the best place to do that is with all the content that Snoog and I put in here. We have all of our rankings, all of our values, all of our rookie guides, the way to rebuild, the way to do a 1-year punt, all those things. Patreon.com/smash accept. Money back guarantee. It's been a money back guarantee since we started this 2 years ago. Snoog, do you know how many times I've refunded someone because they asked? 0 people have asked, and that's I would gladly give it to them if they come in there and they're like, this is crap, this isn't for me. No one's asked. And over the 2 years, come and go, there's been over 1,000 people. So people are starting to get all upset. They're like, oh, Dad, no, not Kendre Miller. But, I think the Saints take somebody this year. Mason Taylor at 3-4. Love this pick. Snoog, a lot of really interesting picks on the board. I think Ayo Manor has to be one of the next guys up. Or Fannin, Jalen Royals is in this area. Beck. Who else do we have? Brashard Smith is starting to fall. He's starting to look like a steal in the late third.
I keep seeing him getting top 30 visits too. It's like, I think there's so many teams considering a day 2 running back that all these guys that we like are just going to have a chance. And it's going to be whoever checks out the best and whoever fits their scheme and offensive kind of success and like that mold of the running back that they want. Like, if the Broncos get an Amari and Hampton in round at pick 20 or in that second round range or whoever it is, a big bruising, powerful back, I could see them taking Brashard Smith in round 4, round 5, double dipping.
Thank you, Mike Constantine, for going Jalen Noel there because he just kept falling.
And Royals, those are great picks.
Sleeper ADP really hasn't corrected himself yet. Like they're just like, okay, he's way too far down there. We're not trying to mess around with those picks. Who's our next pick there with the tight end?
Harold Fannin. That's a good pick there. That's a great upside pick.
That's insane value.
That's a great upside pick. I really want to do something here, but like Ayo Manor fell into my lap. It's like I don't want to not take him and like give off a bad reputation and look, but I do this, so I'm just going to do it to talk about it. If Ayo Manor went and everyone else went above him, I was going to take Taj Brooks. So I'm just going to take Taj Brooks and let Jaden take Ayo Manor. If there's any late round running back that I'm confident that could be an Isaiah Pacheco, a James Robinson, one of those type of just day 3 steals, a Kyron Williams, one of those type of players, I really think it's going to be Taj Brooks because I think out of the guys that we're highest on and that I'm highest on, all go in the top 4 rounds. I think Taj Brooks probably does go in round 4, but if he sneaks to 5 or 6, I think he's like the only guy that I think in this class that can go that late and still end up being good because of how good he is on first and second down as a pure runner, can catch the ball really well, highly productive player, veteran. He's like a Chase Brown type of player to me, just that 5th-year guy that was always productive. Every year he started and avoided like 90 plus force or missed tackles and had crazy 1,500 yards. There's 3 running backs in this class with 3,000 rushing yards in 2023 and 2024. Ashton Genty, Amari and Hampton, Taj Brooks. So I just think that he has all those things you look for in a late round 3 or 4 steal in rookie draft. So there's my Taj Brooks feel. And he's like my gem of this class after like the consensus top, 15, 13, 12 guys.
Yeah. Open 24 said, hey, what's good, boys? How many of these running backs do you think will actually hit?
All of them.
Round
probably like 7.
All 15. Okay.
Realistically, 7 would be elite.
Round 1, I think the hit rate is 75% for these 4 guys. I don't see an area where 2 of them fail. One of them, maybe. I don't think so.
Because of injury. That would be how they fail.
But I think that's at least a 75%. Second round, though, we got Caleb Johnson, Cam Scatterbo. Who else do we got here? Let me just pull this up. Cam Scatterbo, Dylan Sampson, Devin Neal, DJ Giddens, Damian Martinez, Bijal Tootin. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I think you're lucky if you get 2 or 3 good ones in that group.
I think you get 2, maybe 3, depending on landing spot. And that's where if you get that out of a rookie class, 2017, we were talking about that. You got Kamara, you got Mixon, you got McCaffrey. You had Leonard, you had Fournette. Those 4 guys, they all hit in the first round, right? And then you had guys like Aaron Jones and James Conner. They hit in the second round. So
Kareem Hunt, Dalvin Cook. That class gave us like 10 guys. Jamal Williams was also a hit.
Did you almost say Kareem Khan?
Yeah, I did say that. I did accidentally say that.
All right, here we go. I like this. So I love that we're starting to get some sleepers in here. Marcus
awesome.
Yarns is a lot of people really have as a deep sleeper. I mean, sell me a little bit on that pick because I kind of like it. Another guy that's really Io Minor at 310 is an absolute
insane
wild. But the other guy that I'm starting
wide receiver 7 in this class
is after Chris Sims said it. Kyle Williams is starting to jump up in a lot of people's. I mean, he had him as he wrote day 1 difference maker, tier 2 as the wide receiver 2 in the class over Tet. That's just a wild Chris Sims take. But I mean, Chris Sims and Marcus Yarns, we haven't talked about either of them very much. Do you like either of these players? I mean, they're definitely worth third round shot in the dark at this point. LaQuint Allen's a nice pick here at 311.
I love that LaQuint Allen pick. Someone take Brashard Smith for the agenda. Take him. Ed Mayer. Take Brashard Smith. Unless you get a gem. Unless you get a gem on the estate.
This is Ed's first mock with us.
That's a good pick for him. That's a good pick for him. That's a good pick. You bullied
him, man.
We needed it to talk about this. You see a lot of green. That's what you're going to see at the end of most of your rookie drafts. And LaQuint Allen is another one. Him and Taj Brooks are like the only ones that I could see going around 4 or 5 that end up being somewhat relevant. Because LaQuint Allen's an elite receiving back and Taj Brooks is elite on first and second down. That's what you're looking for. When you're a day 3 running back, you have to be really good at something to get on the football field, whether that's in pass protection, catching the ball in the backfield, how you can be deployed as a receiver, how you run the ball between the tackles on first and second down. History speaks that you need to be really good at one of those things to get on the field. Otherwise, you're just going to end up being a handcuff. Like Trey Benson, why is he going to get on the field? Because he's a crazy good athlete. That's literally the only reason why. And he can break tackles. That's what you're looking for.
Hey, speaking of green, guys, if you want a 4 and 5 extra money like Snoog and I do, patreon.com/smashaccept, just to give you just my content of it, because Snoog has the same thing, but you have a spot in there, chat with Dad. You jump in, I'm going to answer your question right away. Dynasty, each positional rankings broken into tiers that tell you a value. So, for instance, you get into tier 4 of the quarterbacks and you're like, okay, Jordan Love, CJ Stroud, these guys are worth 2 first, and then you move into the next tier. You move all the positional ones. You got Dad's buys, Dad's sells, 2025 rookie previews, top 36 Superflex, top 36 one quarterback. You have each individual position. Every time we talk about content, we have quarterbacks, running backs, wide receiver, tight end. We have the rebuild process. We have redraft once we get to there. We have 2025 startup, all to help you with your picks. 2024 rookie profiles to see how close Snoog and I were when we were talking about hitting on prospects. And now we're starting to do 2025 rookie profiles. I mean, and that's just mine. Snoog has the same thing on his end. What you're getting, and one of the guys told me the other day, he's like, you're getting a one-stop shop website that is within itself in the Discord, because you can pull up whatever you want in that room. You can go into group chats where a lot of you guys have really wanted to talk shop with people. You wanted to have friends that actually give a crap about your fantasy team. Snoog, just in yesterday when I put in live stream questions, I got 48 of them within 10 minutes. I was like, hey, who wants to talk? 48. There's a trade talk room, a football chat room. There's Smash mock drafts like we're doing right now. And this isn't just what we do. They're writing them all day long. Like they're running them so you guys can go
we
in.
Probably answer like 100. We probably answer like 200 DMs combined every day between you and I. So
now's the time.
We're in there cooking.
Patreon.com/smashaccept. Make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thanks again for tuning in, guys, and enjoy the process. We got to get into yards next time, man. I'm starting to